Welcome to the 12 Days of Christmas. Today we're going to be doing the seasonal pine cone in Polychromos color pencils. For those of you who are new here, my name is Michelle Moreus and I create art tutorials that are fun, easy, and accessible for everyone. You always want to start your drawing with a pretty accurate sketch. I've pre-sharpened all of my colored pencils and I've swatched them out on a separate piece of paper that I have next to me, and this way I can just grab the exact color that I'm looking for and be ready to draw. We're using Polychromos color pencils, which are an oil-based color pencil for this particular drawing. They blend really smooth and beautifully on this Strathmore 400 Bristol paper. I start out going in with my walnut brown color and I'm mapping in where all of my deep dark shadows are going to be. Now I'm starting off slowly and we're going to build up gradually because there's going to be so many layers of color pencil on top of one another. So I'm just trying to really map in where we're going and where those dark areas are. And this way we can put our colors in as need be and look at our reference image and see where we need to go. For my beginner students, the best way to tackle this will be to just take one little part of the pine cone at a time. So one little piece and keep going. I like to use, when I have that color in my hand, I like to put it where it needs to be. But if it helps you to just do one little section at a time, that would be just fine. There's no right or wrong way to attack a drawing. I find that I forget what I use and therefore I go ahead and put it in where I think it needs to be, right as I have it in my hand. Color pencil is a really slow medium, and the reason for this is you want to really use very light pressure and you want to build up your values as you go. So you can start with your lighter tones and get deeper and deeper as you need them to be. The more layers that you put down, the better it's going to look and the easier it is for you to blend all those colors together. I will put a description of all the colors that I used in today's drawing in the description box below, but the colors aren't as important as the values. So you need to have at least one light value, one mid-tone, and one dark value, and you can use a full range of everything in between those from darkest to lightest values. So if you're using a different brand of pencil, if you're using Prismacolors or some other kind of pencil, just pick out colors that are similar to the values that you want to create in the drawing. So it doesn't really matter what color you use, as long as the values are correct, you will have a believable finished product and you'll have a nice hyper-realistic look when you're done. So I will put the colors of the Polychromos down, but you feel free to swatch them out with a different brand and you'll still have a similar result when it's all done. You want to keep your pencil sharp throughout the remainder of the drawing. This will prevent you from using too much pressure and scarring, denting, or damaging the tooth of the paper. Think of the paper having hills and valleys, and that is what I call the tooth of the paper. So when you flatten that out, it's going to make it harder for you to put more layers of detail on top of one another. And this is why we use such light pressure when we're using color pencils, and this is why you keep layering so that you still have some tooth for the details to grab onto towards the end. My favorite pencil sharpener is the Derwent Super Point manual crank pencil sharpener. You get a really, really sharp point on your pencils. And as you're going along, if you turn your pencil gradually, just like a quarter turn after so long, your pencils will stay sharper a little bit longer and you won't be chewing them up in the sharpener every time you need to get a sharp point. So just gradually turn that pencil around and the point will last a lot longer. If you don't start with a good sketch in the beginning, it's really easy to get lost in a piece. So it's okay to take a break when you get tired or you're getting frustrated. Step away and look at it with some fresh eyes when you get back to it. And colored pencil is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So it takes time and patience, lots and lots of layers, and you want to make sure that you finish your work. But it's okay to take a break and step away. In fact, it's helpful to step away, because then when you come back to it, you can usually see where you've gone wrong, or where you need to adjust a value, or change a color, or just change the proportion of something. But it's really important in the beginning, have a really good sketch, have a good plan of attack, pick your materials, pick the correct paper for the medium that you're using. In this case, the Strathmore 400 Bristol paper. It's a really smooth paper, but it's nice and thick, and it will take a ton of layers of colored pencil. Now, we're not using any solvent in this project. I'm not using any blenders or anything. I'm just using the layers of colored pencil on top of one another to blend the previous layer with the top layer. So the oil-based pencils are great for this, because you really get a smooth blend and a smooth transition as long as you're going in light layers. Now, with light layers, you can still go in with an eraser, electric eraser, or stick eraser, and you can still pick out highlights if you need to. So every now and again, you're going to see me go in with my electric eraser, and I'm going to pull out a few highlights that I'm going to glaze over with some colored pencil, and this way you can adjust your values a little bit. If you're going in with hard pressure right off the beginning, you're not going to be able to erase it, and you're not going to be able to pop a highlight if you need to, or fix a mistake. So just remember to just take your time, go in light layers, and you can still pick those things out with the erasers if need be. And from time to time, you'll see me go around with my kneaded eraser to pick up all those colored pencil crumbs which kind of get on the paper. And I tend to drag my hand around sometimes, and normally I would have a glassine sheet or a piece of tracing paper or paper underneath my hand, but because I'm filming and I want you guys to be able to see everything that I'm doing, I don't have that paper under there. So it's really even more important, if you don't use that paper, to use your kneaded eraser and go ahead and pick those crumbs up as you need to. I'm going ahead and putting in my shadow with some graphite, and I'm using my blending stump to kind of blend all that out to get a nice smooth shadow underneath this pine cone. So just go ahead and put the color in, use your kneaded eraser to clean it up, and use your blending stump to get a nice clean blend. Don't forget to check out my other videos of 12 Days of Christmas. I'll leave a link at the end for that playlist. I'd love it if you guys would smash that like button if you like the tutorials so far. It helps my videos get out to a broader audience. And leave me a comment below. I love hearing from each and every one of you, and I do get back to all of you. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today, and happy art.